Hello everyone. Tonight I'm going to be discussing my comic book idea of Chrono, which is the revenge story of a man named Shin who works under the alias of Chrono, taken from the god of time due to his powers that allow him to sort of bend the dimensions around him in a way that look like he's traveling either super fast or regenerating quickly, and it makes people think that he has a control over time space in an area around him. First off is the background of my comic, which is going to be a cyberpunk environment. The year is going to be 2148, and cities stretch for hundreds of miles going in every direction in a gridlock style arrangement. And due to overcrowding, they've started building vertically rather than continue building out horizontally. The countries have dissolved, and corporations run most of basically everything, from the physical realm to the digital realm of humanity. The corporations with the most influence over an area get to decide what rules are followed and get to decide everything from taxes to who lives and who dies, because they have all the resources and they have all the power. This is a place of potential where every disease has a cure and every person is augmented to be more than human. But the darker side to this is that there are disregarded ghettos run by gangs, arbitrary rules set by the upper class regents, and the world's natural resources are fought over and killed for. The hero of my story is a young man by the name of Shin, who lives in the Babylon Corporation's territory, because if all the land is broken up into territories. The interesting thing about Shin is that he is the lone survivor of a monastery of monks that was located in the Babylon Corporation's territory. The monks used to live in this area, and when the corporation wanted the land, they declined the offer of money and were wiped out. Shin survived by being off the monastery at the time, and when he came back, everything was destroyed, his whole life taken away from him. So fast forward a couple of years, Shin isn't a hero. He's a lot like the Punisher in the way that he does right, he does wrong. It just depends on him. He has his own moral compass. He works as what is called an operator in the Babylon district, which is an underbelly mercenary hired to perform things like corporate espionage, assassinations, and other dark dealings. He performs these tasks quickly and professionally enough to make his code name of Chrono one of the most renowned operators in the district. So he has kind of embraced the darker side of the world and become a contract killer in order to gain prestige and gain access to find the people that murdered his family and to kill them and take them out. And that is his ultimate goal, which is to avenge his family's death. It's roughly 10 years or so after the initial event occurred that slew all of the monks. So the origin, of course, is Shin is the lone survivor of the monastery monks, which I was talking about. And they were slain by the head of the Babylon Corporation, he's just known as Father, or the Father. The monks were practitioners of a sort of religion like the traditional Japanese Shinto, and they worship the spirits of nature. And in this day and age, where everything is cyber augmented and digital frontier and cyborgs and all this other cool stuff, it's not that big of a practice to worship nature. Nature is gone. Nobody cares about that. It's all digital. It's all money this and all amazing technology that. And so what I wanted to do was make a kind of juxtaposition between nature and modernization by showing a character of Shin who has the upbringing of loving and being in nature and whatnot with the monks, and then the darker persona of Chrono, who is completely modern, cybernetic, and just in deep with the urban living. And then you can show those kind of duality of him. And because of this, he has the best powers of both worlds, where his skills and weapons are all modern and whatnot. His ability to bend dimensions around him are from the spirit realm. Because in this story, basically, as humanity moved away from the environment and the natural traditions and religions. The spirit realm, the barrier between the spirit realm and the physical realm became weaker and weaker, to the point where the few practitioners of these old arts can absorb and manage and manipulate the energy of the spirit realm into an almost magic sort of way. And it almost manifests itself to those people who still worship that kind of thing. So whereas 95% of the population of the world will never be able to touch anything like that, there'll be a small percentage of people that can draw upon this magical entity, and each of them will have different powers. Shin's powers, of course, are the ability to manipulate the time and space barriers around him. So he'll move superhumanly quickly, his wounds will heal very quickly, his sword strikes will seem to disappear and reappear and go through things. He can disappear into shadows and reappear other places, and just tons of different things. And as the comic would move along, he would learn more of this manipulation over these kind of things and become a stronger and more powerful manipulator. The inspiration for this came from an old, I believe it's an Aesop's fable, which is titled The Scorpion and the Frog. And the story of the scorpion and the frog is that there's a river, and a scorpion goes up to the frog and asks the frog to ferry him across the river. And the frog says, "No, if I do that, you'll surely sting me and I'll die." And the scorpion says, "Well, why would I sting you and have you die when it would allow me to drown and I would be killed?" And the frog says, "Well, if we get to the other side, surely you'll sting me." And he's like, "Well, wait a second. I won't sting you because I'll appreciate you so much for bringing me over." So the frog says, "Okay." So he allows the scorpion onto his back, and they start going across the river, and halfway around, the frog suddenly becomes numb and starts sinking and looks around and sees that the scorpion had stung him. And the frog goes, "Why? It means the death of us both." And the scorpion merely replies as the water surrounds him and says, "I'm sorry, it's just in my nature." And so the comic that I want to design is a Scorpion the Frog testament, where Shin is so bent out of revenge, much like the Punisher, where he doesn't care about his happiness, his life, or his future. It's in his nature to seek that revenge. And I want to show that self-destruction through the comic book and show how he helps people, but he also harms people, and how having that end game, that end goal of revenge can destroy so much more than you set out. And then the justification for the character is, I pulled this from the Superhero Reader, and it states that there are 7 headings that can be pulled together to construct a first stage working definition of a superhero. And that is that the hero is marked out from society. He often reaches maturity without having a relationship with his parents. At least some of the superheroes will be like earthbound gods in their level of powers. Other superheroes of lesser powers will consort easily with these deities. The hero's devotion to justice overrides the devotion to the law, meaning that their own justice and what they believe to be righteous will override what laws are set by man. And they have an extraordinary ability nature of the superhero that will be contrasted with the ordinariness of his surroundings or her surroundings. Likewise, the extraordinary nature of the hero will be contrasted with the mundane nature of the alter ego. Certain taboos will govern the action of these alter egos. And ultimately, they are above the law, and they're capable of considerable patriotism and moral loyalty to the state, though not necessarily to the letter of its laws. And the stories are mythical and use science and myth indiscriminately to create a sense of wonder. And I feel like that in my idea, I've hit on a number of these things, such as the Shinto ties and the cyberpunk mixing together to create science and myth. And they'll just blend together to the point where he'll be walking down the street and he'll feel pulls of the spirit realm, but he'll be seeing, run down buildings or skyscrapers that reach past the heavens. The hero's devotion to the justice that he believes is justice. So Shin believes that killing father is the absolute end game. If he can do this, he can avenge his family, and he'll save so many other souls from being like him by taking down this horrible, horrible man who has created this corporation that has stemmed so far. And ultimately, if you look back. I mean, it might just be absorbed by another corporation afterwards, but Shin's not looking at that. He's out for revenge. He's looking to enact that what he needs. And because of that, he is marked out from society. He reached maturity without having the relationships of parents as well, because the monks have been killed for years. And because of that, he's had to go through his own hero's journey, and it's kind of led him in a anti-hero sort of way, where he does good, but he also does bad. And then the superheroes, the powers that he has, are easily godlike in level, because space and time are just, I mean, if you've seen Doctor Strange, you know what he can do. So this isn't on that level, of course, but it's to the extent of he can do inhumane things and just god at a godlike level, because he can just warp time and space to his will around him, and as he would grow, he would get a stronger power over these elements. And then because of that, all the people that are, all the operators who work just as well as he does but don't have the powers, they'll consort with him and whatnot, but they'll be lower than him in a way. So I don't know. I feel like this would be a really cool blend of sci-fi and fantasy, magic and technology, that could show, an old fable that reflects on the nature of humanity in multiple different ways. And I think that that's really what comic books really strive to be, which is just another lens to look through at not only the human condition, but just things in general that can make and change human lives and emotions. And I'd really like to express that through a comic book setting such as this. So that's a brief overview of the comic book Chrono. It's been a pleasure working on it. I've had a lot of fun. I unfortunately don't have any concept art. I'm not very artistic. I have a couple stick figures, but I'll save you all the eyesores of that. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.